Hold up, hold up, hold up. You think you know Dexter? You think you've seen it all? What if I told you that the chilling realism of that show goes deeper than you could ever imagine? Did you know that Michael C. Hall, the man who brought Dexter Morgan to life, was himself battling cancer while filming the show? Think about that for a second. The actor portraying a meticulous, emotionless serial killer was fighting for his own life off screen. The layers of dark irony are just insane, but that's just the tip of the iceberg, my friend. This show, which delves into the mind of a good serial killer, has some truly disturbing ties to actual real-life murderers. People inspired by Dexter to commit horrific acts. We're talking about secrets so dark, so unsettling, they'll make you question everything you thought you knew about the show. Stay tuned, because we're about to expose it all. Fact 1. Michael C. Hall was secretly battling cancer during Season 5. Okay, let's kick things off with a fact that's as gut-wrenching as a Dexter kill, but in a very real way. Remember Season 5? That was the aftermath of Rita's shocking death, a truly pivotal and emotionally charged season for Dexter. Now, imagine playing that role, delivering those powerful, grief-stricken performances, all while secretly battling Hodgkin's lymphoma. Yep, you heard that right. Michael C. Hall, the man who is Dexter Morgan, was undergoing chemotherapy during the filming of Season 5. Think about that for a second. You're watching him on screen, seeing his character's raw vulnerability, his desperate attempts to cope, and meanwhile, the actor himself is fighting for his life. It's an incredible testament to his dedication and talent that absolutely no one on screen could tell what he was going through. In fact, he wore a wig throughout the entire season to cover his hair loss from the chemotherapy. Go back and watch some of those scenes. You'd never know. It adds a whole new layer of respect for his performance, doesn't it? He publicly revealed his diagnosis in January 2010, after filming for Season 5 was well underway. And thankfully, he confirmed his full recovery in April of the following year. What an absolute warrior. It just goes to show you the sheer professionalism and resilience of some actors. While Dexter was wrestling with his internal demons, Michael C. Hall was wrestling with very real, life-threatening ones. Fact 2. The original showrunner wanted Dexter to die, and Showtime said no. Okay, so let's talk endings. Love it or hate it. And let's be honest, many of us had strong feelings about the original series finale. The final episode of Dexter left a lot to be desired for many fans. Dexter, living as a lumberjack in Oregon? Come on, that felt like a cop-out, right? Well, it turns out the show could have had a very different and arguably more fitting conclusion. Original showrunner Clyde Phillips, who was with the show for its critically acclaimed first 4 seasons, had a clear vision for Dexter's endgame. He wanted Dexter to die, not just any death, mind you, but a truly poetic, full-circle demise. Phillips envisioned Dexter on the execution table, surrounded by the ghosts of his victims, the people he killed, the people he loved and lost because of his actions, all watching him face justice. Imagine the chilling symmetry of that. Rita, Dokes, LaGuerta, Deb, even Harry, all observing his final moments. However, Showtime, the network behind Dexter, reportedly refused to let their golden goose die. They wanted the possibility of future seasons or spin-offs, or simply didn't want to kill off such a popular character. So Phillips left after Season 4, which, not coincidentally, is often cited as the show's peak. His departure and the network's decision to keep Dexter alive set the stage for the controversial end he eventually got. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What if Showtime had listened? Would Dexter be remembered with a more satisfying, albeit darker conclusion? It certainly would have solidified his journey into true consequence. Fact 3. David Zayas, Angel Batista, was a real-life cop. How about a little real-world connection? You know Angel Batista, right? Miami Metro's lovable, fedora-wearing detective, always ready with a kind word, a warm smile, and sometimes a little too much information about his personal life. He seemed so natural in the role, didn't he? Well, there's a reason for that. David Zayas, the actor who brought Batista to life, was actually a police officer in real life. Before he became a full-time actor, Zayas served with the New York City Police Department. He was an NYPD officer for many years, primarily working in the Bronx. While he was on the force, he was secretly pursuing his passion for acting, taking auditions whenever he could. Can you imagine? Patrol car by day, acting class by night. He even mentioned that only his patrol partner knew about his acting aspirations and would sometimes help him run lines while they were on duty. This background undoubtedly lent an incredible authenticity to his portrayal of Batista. The way he carried himself, the subtle police mannerisms, the way he navigated the police station dynamics, it all felt incredibly genuine. It's no wonder Batista felt like such a grounded and believable character in the often fantastical world of Dexter. He literally walked the walk. Fact 4. Jeremy Renner could have been the ice truck killer. This one is a total mindbender. Imagine a world where Hawkeye from the Avengers was also Dexter's serial killer brother, Brian Moser, aka the Ice Truck Killer. It almost happened. Jeremy Renner, who went on to become a massive movie star, was actually offered the role of Brian Moser in Dexter's first season. At that time, Renner was known for his intense dramatic performances, including his chilling portrayal of serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer in the 2002 film Dahmer. It was precisely that role that caught the attention of the Dexter casting directors. However, Renner ultimately declined the offer. He reportedly decided that he wasn't keen on playing another horrifying murderer so soon after Dahmer. The role, of course, eventually went to the incredibly talented Christian Camargo, who gave us a truly memorable and unsettling performance as Dexter's long-lost brother, eager to rekindle their shared traumatic past. It's hard to imagine anyone else in that role now, isn't it? But it's wild to think about the different dynamic Renner might have brought to the character, and how that could have reshaped the very foundation of Dexter's origin story. A huge what-if in the Dexter universe. Fact 5. Michael C. Hall and Jennifer Carpenter, Dexter and Deb, were married in real life. Okay, this one is probably less didn't know and more forgot how weird that was, but it still needs to be mentioned for any new fans or those who just glossed over the real-life drama. The brother-sister dynamic between Dexter and Deborah Morgan was the emotional core of the show for many seasons. Their bond was complex, often strained, but undeniably powerful. Now, add this layer to it. The actors who played them, Michael C. Hall and Jennifer Carpenter, were married in real life. They tied the knot in 2008, around the time season 3 was airing, and were married until 2011, overlapping with seasons 3 through 6. So, for a significant portion of the show's run, the actors playing siblings with a deeply complicated relationship were also a married couple. And then, here's the kicker, they filed for divorce in 2011. What makes this truly remarkable, and a testament to their professionalism, is that they continued to work together for several more years after their divorce, until the series finale in season 8. And then, they even returned to work together again for Dexter. New blood. Imagine the dedication it takes to put aside personal history and continue to deliver such intense, intimate performances with your ex-spouse. It speaks volumes about their commitment to their craft and to the show. It certainly adds an extra layer of oof to those emotionally charged scenes between Dexter and Deb. Knowing the real-life context, talk about awkward family dinners. Fact 6. The books are way darker and different. For those of us who only watch the show, prepare yourselves. The original Dexter novels by Jeff Lindsay are a whole different beast. While the show certainly delved into dark themes, the books are, to put it mildly, significantly gorier and feature a much colder, more genuinely psychopathic Dexter. In the books, Dexter is far less empathetic and struggles even more to connect with anyone. The show's creative team intentionally warmed up TV Dexter to make him more relatable and allow for character growth, making him capable of genuine love for Rita, Harrison, and even Deborah. Book Dexter? Not so much. He's often described as being more of a flat-out sociopath, with very little capacity for emotion or remorse. But the differences don't stop there. Remember Brian Moser, the ice truck killer? In the show, Dexter kills him at the end of season 1 to protect Deborah. In the books, Dexter actually lets Brian live. Brian even reappears in later novels, continuing to be a presence in Dexter's life. This alone fundamentally alters Dexter's character arc and his relationship with his past. Another major divergence, Deborah. In the books, Deborah discovers Dexter's secret much earlier, and her character is also quite different. She's described as more voluptuous, has a long-term boyfriend, and even becomes a single mother. And the dark passenger itself, in the books, it's almost treated as a literal, supernatural entity, rather than a metaphor for Dexter's urges or mental illness, as it largely is in the show. So, while the show drew inspiration from the books, it quickly carved its own path, creating a more emotionally complex and arguably more palatable version of Dexter for television audiences. If you thought the show was dark, the books will take you to a whole new level of twisted. Fact 7. How they made those gruesome crime scenes safely. Dexter wouldn't be Dexter without those iconic kill rooms and grisly crime scenes. But how did they make it all look so disturbingly real without actually harming the actors or making a colossal mess that would take days to clean up? Well, it involves some clever tricks and a lot of safety precautions. First, let's talk about the scalpel slice to the cheek, Dexter's signature ritual. While the scalpel used was real, no actual skin was ever punctured. The blade was dulled and rigged with a small capsule of fake blood. When Michael C. Hall made the cut, he would subtly squeeze the capsule to release the blood onto the actor's cheek. Simple, yet incredibly effective. And those infamous kill rooms, completely wrapped in plastic. They initially tried full-body wraps for the victims, but quickly discovered it was dangerous, cutting off the actor's ability to breathe. So, the prop team got creative. They separated the plastic into sections, only holding down key parts like the head, torso, hips, and feet. Actors beneath the plastic usually wore only G-strings matching their skin tone, with lighting and camera angles used to conceal anything inappropriate. And imagine this. Actors often had to lie on those tables for hours, unable to get up on their own, waiting for their cues. Talk about commitment. For the massive blood splatters, especially in the more chaotic kills, the crew would use a small sprayer positioned just below the camera, which could instantly douse Dexter and the set with fake blood. And for the gruesome body parts, those were meticulously crafted props made of silicone with incredible detail, real nail polish on severed fingers, real dental crown material for teeth, and even individual hairs hand-placed. It took weeks to make a single prop head. It's a testament to the show's prop and special effects teams that they could create such unsettling realism safely and efficiently. Fact 8. The secrecy around Rita's death was intense, even for the cast crew. Speaking of gruesome, let's revisit one of the most shocking moments in TV history. Rita Morgan's death in the season 4 finale, The Getaway. It was a moment that redefined Dexter and sent shockwaves through the fandom, and the production went to extreme lengths to keep it a secret, even from much of the cast and crew. Showrunner Clyde Phillips, before his departure, and executive producers knew from very early on in season 4 that Rita would die. The decision was made to show that Dexter's two lives couldn't coexist without devastating consequences, and Trinity's ultimate act of revenge had to hit Dexter where it hurt the most. But the fear of spoilers was immense. Julie Benz, who played Rita, wasn't even told until a couple of weeks before filming the finale. She was reportedly devastated, feeling somewhat lied to about the direction of her character, as she had been given assurances that her role would be safe after previous contract renegotiations. She even asked to see the notes from the season 4, pitched to confirm that her character's death was indeed planned from the outset, which it was. The scene itself, finding Rita in the bathtub with Harrison crying in her blood, was filmed under extreme security. Only essential personnel were on set, and scripts were heavily redacted. The infant actor playing Harrison was, of course, totally fine and safe. Michael C. Hall later clarified on Reddit that the baby's mother was right beside the camera, and we did our best to make it feel like playtime, ensuring the little one was comfortable despite the horrifying imagery. The level of secrecy was so high that many crew members didn't know what was happening until they saw the finished episode. This intense secrecy paid off, though, delivering one of the most unexpected and impactful twists in modern television history. It truly changed everything. Fact 9. Dexter's aliases are full of Easter eggs. Dexter often had to go undercover, sometimes for his job, sometimes for his dark passenger. And when he did, he used some pretty interesting aliases. It turns out these fake names were often clever nods to famous fictional serial killers, showing Dexter's twisted sense of humor and perhaps his own self-awareness. For instance, he famously used the name Patrick Bateman. Ring a bell? That's the name of the iconic psychopathic investment banker from Bret Easton Ellis's novel American Psycho, and the equally famous film adaptation. The similarities are striking. Both are outwardly charming, successful professionals with a meticulous hidden life of murder. It's a subtle wink to the audience, connecting Dexter to the broader pop culture canon of charming, deadly anti-heroes. On another occasion, he went by Sean Ellis, which is an amalgamation of the names Ellis, referencing Bret Easton Ellis again, and Sean Bateman, Patrick's brother, from another one of Ellis's novels, The Rules of Attraction. This implies Dexter might be a bit of a literary or film buff, particularly when it comes to the darker corners of fiction. These little details just add another layer to Dexter's already complex character, reminding us that even a serial killer appreciates a good literary reference. Fact 10. Harry didn't adopt Brian Moser because he was fed up. Asterisk, we all know the story. Harry Morgan, a Miami Metro police detective, finds little Dexter in a pool of his mother's blood and adopts him, teaching him the code to channel his murderous urges. But what about Brian, Dexter's biological brother, the ice truck killer? It's revealed that Harry also knew about Brian's existence. So why didn't he adopt both? This heartbreaking detail comes to light in Season 1. Harry saw both boys after the traumatic cargo container incident. While he took Dexter, he explicitly chose not to adopt Brian. The reason? Harry believed he could see in young Brian's eyes that he was a fucked up kid, too far gone. Even for Harry's code to save, he felt that Brian was simply irredeemably damaged. This decision profoundly shaped both brothers. For Dexter, it meant a structured, albeit twisted life with a semblance of normalcy. For Brian, it meant being shunted from foster home to foster home, allowing his own darkness to fester unchecked. It highlights Harry's incredibly flawed, yet pragmatic approach to Dexter's condition and establishes the tragic dichotomy between the two brothers. One taught to hide his darkness, the other left to embrace it openly. It also cements the idea that Harry made a very deliberate, cold calculation about who was salvageable. Fact 11. Animals don't like Dexter. Have you ever noticed that animals seem to instinctively recoil from Dexter? It's a subtle but consistent detail throughout the series. Whether it's a dog barking at him, a cat hissing, or any other creature seemingly sensing his presence, animals just don't seem to be fans of Dexter Morgan. This isn't just a coincidence or a quirky character trait. It plays into the idea that animals possess an innate ability to sense things humans cannot. Perhaps they sense his dark passenger, that cold, predatory essence that defines his true nature. It aligns with folklore and common belief that animals can perceive supernatural presences or simply have a heightened instinct for danger and malevolence. It serves as a constant, subtle reminder that no matter how well Dexter blends in, how charming he can be, or how much he pretends to be human, there's something fundamentally off about him, something deeply unnatural. Even innocent creatures, unburdened by human societal norms or facades, can pick up on it. It's a neat little detail that reinforces Dexter's alienation from the natural world, even when he desperately tries to become a part of it. Fact 12. The show had a massively impactful SMS marketing campaign. Remember when SMS marketing was a big thing? Well, Dexter actually had one of the most innovative and controversial mobile marketing campaigns back in the day. To promote the show, especially in its earlier seasons, Showtime launched an Infinity Killer alternate reality game, ARG. This involved a series of clues, websites, and interactive elements that led fans on a hunt to catch a fictional serial killer, mirroring Dexter's own pursuits. Part of this campaign involved personalized text messages sent to mobile users. Imagine getting a text message that seemingly came from a killer, referencing a crime scene, or even incorporating your name into a blood message on a wall. While it was incredibly creative and certainly raised the show's profile, it also proved to be unpopular with many mobile owners who saw it as unsolicited spam, especially given the dark and disturbing nature of the messages. Fox, who helped run the campaign, even had to issue statements in response to complaints about the SMS element. It's a fascinating glimpse into early 2000s viral marketing tactics, and how a show as edgy as Dexter pushed the boundaries, sometimes a little too far, in its promotional efforts. It definitely got people talking, that's for sure. Fact 13, Dexter's kill table, plastic wrap, had to be redesigned for safety. We've already touched on the prop realism, but let's talk about that iconic plastic wrap, Dexter's signature kill room decor. It was such a chilling visual, right? The pristine plastic, the victim neatly cocooned, ready for their final judgment. But what you might not know is that the design of this plastic wrap had to be significantly altered after Season 1 for the safety of the actors. Initially, the crew used a single, continuous sheet of plastic to completely wrap the actors, creating that tight, almost mummified effect. However, they quickly discovered this was actually quite dangerous for the actors. Being so tightly enveloped in plastic, especially with bright studio lights, could restrict their breathing and make them incredibly uncomfortable. It was a serious safety concern. So, the production team went back to the drawing board. They redesigned the plastic wrap to be in separate sections. Instead of one large sheet, they used multiple pieces that were strategically placed and then taped down, primarily securing the head, torso, hips, and feet. This allowed for much better airflow and comfort for the actors, without sacrificing the terrifying visual effect. It's a great example of how practical effects and safety measures often go hand in hand. To to bring a fictional world to life, the things actors endure for their art. Fact 14. Socio, Angel Batista's unintentional double meaning. Here's a fun one that's actually a little dark when you think about it. Angel Batista, with his endearing personality and penchant for calling Dexter socio, which means partner in Spanish, was always a ray of sunshine in the grim world of Miami Metro. But that seemingly innocent nickname carries an incredibly ironic and chilling double meaning. Socio is, of course, the beginning of the word sociopath. And what is Dexter Morgan? A textbook case of a high-functioning sociopath. It's a brilliantly subtle, likely unintentional, linguistic Easter egg that constantly reminds the audience of Dexter's true nature, even as his closest friends and colleagues are oblivious. It's one of those things that once you notice it, you can't unnotice it. Every time Batista says socio, a little part of you probably winces, knowing the full weight of that word in the context of Dexter's secret life. It perfectly encapsulates the show's central tension. Dexter walking among normal people, his true self hidden in plain sight, even playfully acknowledged by those closest to him. Fact 15. Lumen Pierce's name has a special meaning. Remember Lumen Pierce from Season 5? She was one of Dexter's most unique and impactful love interests, forming a bond with him over their shared need for revenge against a group of sadistic men. Her journey with Dexter was brief but intense, and her name itself carries a symbolic meaning. Lumen is the Latin word for light or brightness. This is incredibly fitting for her character. In a season where Dexter is plunged into the deepest darkness of grief and guilt after Rita's death, Lumen emerges as a literal and metaphorical source of light. She doesn't judge his darkness, she understands her own. She offers him a unique connection, a partnership in justice, albeit a dark one, and for a time, a sense of purpose beyond just his own dark passenger. She brings a brief, glimmering hope to Dexter's world, helping him to heal in a way he hadn't experienced before. Her name perfectly encapsulates her role as a guiding, illuminating presence in his otherwise shadowed existence. It's a subtle touch, but once you know it, it adds another layer to her character's significance. Fact 16. The Trinity Killer was inspired by a real-life serial killer. John Lithgow's portrayal of Arthur Mitchell, the Trinity Killer, is often hailed as the show's greatest villain and one of the most terrifying in television history. His ability to blend seamlessly into suburban life while committing horrific acts was chilling, and it turns out the character was largely inspired by a real-life serial killer, Dennis Rader, better known as the BTK Killer. BTK, which stands for Bind, Torture, Kill, was a serial killer who operated for decades, terrorizing Wichita, Kansas. Like Trinity, Rader was a seemingly normal, unassuming family man, a churchgoer, a Cub Scout leader, and a community pillar. No one suspected that this ordinary individual was responsible for such heinous crimes. The parallels are striking. Both presented a perfect facade of domesticity and community involvement while harboring a monstrous secret life. This real-life inspiration lent a terrifying believability to the Trinity Killer, making his character even more unsettling. It's a stark reminder that true evil can often hide in plain sight behind the most unassuming faces. John Lithgow's incredible performance, combined with this grounded, terrifying reality, made Trinity an unforgettable antagonist. Fact 17. The Miami Metro Police Station wasn't a real police station. Okay, this might seem obvious, but for a show that prides itself on procedural accuracy, at least in the beginning, it's worth noting the Miami Metro Police Department headquarters, where much of the show takes place, was entirely a set. It wasn't filmed in a real police station. This allowed the production team complete control over the environment, from the precise layout of the bullpen to the intricate details of the forensics lab where Dexter works. Think about it. The unique lighting, the specific camera angles, the ability to create those perfectly framed shots of Dexter observing his colleagues, all of that is much easier to achieve on a dedicated soundstage. They could also control the ambient noise, lighting, and workflow, which would be impossible in a functioning police department. It's a testament to the set designers and cinematographers that they created such a believable and iconic setting that felt lived in and authentic, even though it was meticulously constructed from the ground up. It's all part of the magic of television, building an immersive world from scratch. Fact 18. Dexter's perfect ending was always debatable. While Clyde Phillips had his idea for Dexter's death, and Showtime Showtime wanted him alive. The debate about Dexter's true ending extends beyond just the finale we got. Many fans felt that a truly satisfying ending for Dexter, regardless of whether he lived or died, would involve him being exposed. The core tension of the show was always about his secret life and the constant threat of exposure. Imagine an ending where his colleagues, the people he worked alongside, and, in his own way, cared for, discovered his horrific secret, the shattered trust, the devastation among Batista, Quinn, and even Masuka. The idea that this monster was among them, framing Dokes, killing LaGuerta, it would have been a profoundly impactful and tragic conclusion. Some argue that Dexter's ultimate punishment wasn't death, but precisely the opposite, an isolated life, stripped of all human connection, condemned to live with the consequences of his actions without the catharsis of death or even justice. The lumberjack ending, while widely panned, arguably achieved this, albeit in a frustratingly vague way. New Blood attempted to rectify some of this, but the discussion around what would have been the perfect ending for Dexter continues to this day, a testament to the show's complex themes and the deep connection fans had with its characters. Did any of these surprise you? Which one was your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe for more TV secrets, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Thanks for watching. Tonight's the night. Well, not for killing, just for learning cool stuff. If you want to follow the story of Dexter and the show's crazy facts, check out our video here.